I estimate our home cost about $850 total to build, and that's mostly because it's predominantly made out of earth. Our home is made from cob, an ancient building technique going back more than 6,000 years. Cob is made from a mixture of water, sand, clay, and fibres, which are traditionally mixed together by foot. This right here is a well-finished cob. You can see the fibres run throughout. It's got a good squishy sound and sounds like the beach when you rub it against itself. I have great confidence that this stuff is going to change the world for the better. Well, again.
After all, mud can be made into marvelous things if you know the magic.
Hello friends and welcome to another episode of Ontario Permaculture. I'm Bryce Murph'Ariens.
And I'm Misty Murph'Ariens.
Thanks for joining us.
In this video, we're going to take you on a tour of our home.
We'll talk about the what, the how, and the why of our house and how we got to where we are over the last 13 years.
So let's go take a look.
A few things make our house unique. It is off the grid, it was hand built out of earth, and it cost us less than $1,000 Canadian to build.
This vestibule was completed this year, all from recycled lumber and windows. It is a sculptural cob infill in a stick frame construction. As you can see, there is ample space for decoration and art on the walls.
This mermaid sculpture is made from polished sculptural cob and glass.
The first thing you see when entering the living room is generally the legend of House Murph'Ariens, a giant monolithic cob mass sculptural mosaic and mural on our north wall. This installation is filled with reflective surfaces and is a delight in all light levels. We use wood heat in this room, and it has a cob reflective baffle behind it. But predominantly, this room is heated, especially in the wintertime, through its passive solar gain through these south windows. This mermaid is named Fortune, one of Misty's newest and nicest sculptures yet.
The handmade arched wooden door was made by Bryce, and it leads to the bathroom and sauna. Portal installation I call Fortune Favors the Brave. As you can see, one of the major features of the living space is the library. Though it is not all of our books, it contains many of our books. Leading from the living room goes to the boot room and the Tree of Life mosaic.
We come now to the kitchen, the original 10 by 10 portion of our build. This section is monolithic cob in a Tudor-style stick frame building. Originally constructed for a little under $400, the section now has hot and cold running rainwater on tap, as well as a wood-burning stove, which we use most of the year. We do almost all of our food prep in here, though in the hottest summer months we do use a barbecue outside. We keep most of our bulk dried goods in this pantry area. This refrigerator isn't plugged in, it's strictly cool storage. We like to refer to this area as the West Wing. The West Wing is a combination of here, strawbale with cob on top, as well as variations of wattle and daub and timber framing. This room is heated with a hand-sculpted cob and lime-plastered oven, which we only generally use in the coldest months of the year, though these new drying racks have proved especially effective.
This area is primarily the dining area, but it's also our homeschool, classroom, and art studio when we are working on projects. Behind the mirror, we call the craft closet, which has all of art supplies.
Our stair rails are all wild and locally sourced natural arbor vitae, all in shapes that can only be found in nature. In fact, all of the timbers for our entire home construction have been found locally and sourced ourselves.
I find creating art to be very therapeutic, so each time I have challenges in my life, I do some sculpting or painting. This sculpture in particular helped me overcome some formidable challenges, and so it is called Rise Above. The Mermaid bathroom is another such therapy. It was a therapy in the making and also intended to be an immersive art installation that would support meditation and transformative healing through the power of metaphor and sensory information. I love the way the light comes through the bottle windows set in the stairs at various different angles throughout the day, illuminating different parts of the mosaic. This sculpture is made from cob, set on a plaster and lath background on the mermaid side, and wattle and daub inset on the seahorse side.
And to the lower left, as we come out of this space, you can see our rocket stove water heater.
These stairs are Bryce's masterpiece. He board mastered the boards of the steps themselves with his chainsaw, leaving this beautiful pattern on them. And we found the branches that curve for the railings in the forest, and he cut them to fit perfectly in this arrangement. This had been the girls' bedroom in their transition from co-sleeping to having their own bedroom, and now it serves as a guest bed. And this side is our bedroom. My favorite thing about this room is how bright it is in here. It is just a glorious view over the farm.
The weave you can see here on the headboard in this installation is reminiscent of the wattle which lies behind it. The wall straight ahead with the art piece on it is the former exterior of the 10x10. These central pillars make up the backbone of the whole west wing construction and were originally a living tree on this site.
Now leaving the west wing and going to the original 10x10, check out those upstairs. The tiny staircase in our original 10x10 always creates eager anticipation with our tiny visitors. What's up there? Originally, this was our bedroom when it was just a 10x10, and now the girls have taken it as their bedroom. I believe developing imagination is very important, and being in a very immersive and supportive environment, I think, really brings the imagination to life. It informs your adventures and your play. When your surroundings seem magical, it feels like everything is possible, and that's an idea that I want my girls to grow up with. Once again, my favorite thing about this room is how the light comes in across the cob. There is just something magical about a deep windowsill in a bright afternoon. One of the most important rooms of the house isn't even in the house, it's beside the house. The food forest is our favorite space. Inside the food forest, our perennial food garden, we relax, we learn,
about the alphabet.
we play, and we work. Personally, I'd like to see more green spaces integrated with our living spaces in North America. So much of my physical, emotional, and psychological well-being comes from being able to do my life in the food forest. The food forest, kitchen garden, and chinampas provide a huge amount of our food, from the first thing in the spring when the snow thaws to the very last thing while we're digging in the snow in the late autumn. Our house just wouldn't be our house without it. I would love to see more people have access to something like this. By now you've probably deduced that our style is fairy tale. For this reason, we feel strongly that houses should have enchanted artworks, grandmother trees, grass growing from the roof, plenty of sunshine, and of course, food and medicine security. Of course, no fairy tale cottage would be complete without adorable animal companions. These little dudes were lost by their mama this spring, so we have hand-raised them as a homeschooling unit, and they are now imprinted on us and follow us about the farm slightly more than their feral compatriots. I tell you, if you want to feel good about yourself, befriend some poultry. They will adore you.
This is the north side of the house. You may have noticed that there are very few windows on this side of the house, and that is intentional, in order to minimize heat loss where there are no solar gains to be had. But one of the great benefits of this north side with no windows is that there's plenty of room for art.
I believe that houses represent our outer selves, so the art is a reflection of our inner selves. And on the north side, we allow the darker elements to be beautiful. This Capricorn sculpture was actually the end puzzle on a live-action role-playing adventure that we hosted on the farm a few years ago. Poe was merely incidental. We made the building and it just looks like the Kung Fu Panda. The windows on the north side of the house are small and few to conserve heat where there can be no passive solar gain. The colored glass is recycled bottles. The metal hat on our friend Poe here, the sauna turret, is actually artfully crafted by Bryce out of olive oil cans. He made a video about it earlier in the year if you're interested to see how exactly he put those together.
You may note the cat door here, a little place for our furry feline friends to tuck in and get out of the wind. Well, now that we've shown you our home, let's show you how we brought this thing about. It all starts with a shovel. Oh, there's a beautiful ochre pocket right here, actually. Just get that before we're done.
Wow, look at that foolish gold.
Fool's gold right there. And there's the gravel line. Oh, it's interesting. I can get to know the layers in the earth so well. Mm-hmm. sailing away.
Sail away, sail away, sail away.
What sound does a stork make?
Go, go, go. Okay, not like that. That's high carbon earth. Cha cha cha. Steve, you want to jump on? Yeah. Okay. And jump up. You got it. You got it. Let's go. Off, please.
How's that?
Okay, so give me a jump. Aha, one jump. Okay, hop off. Good job, kids. Excuse me. Yeah, perfect. Nice burrito. There's a chunk of ochre. Come up. Well finished burrito. So it's good to see how it does for the stand test quite well.
I find creating with cob very different than other materials. The process is very organic. Cob structures sort of evolve. The process is slow and interactive, giving time for reflection and insight. As cob goes up, it takes on unique characteristics that seem to suggest shapes. It almost feels like it wants to be sculpted. In previous videos, we've mentioned Kaizen, which is a parallel to the permaculture principle, use small and slow solutions. Well, our house and property is the embodiment of that, what you can accrue when you add value a little bit at a time.
We hope you've all enjoyed this tour of our home.
There is certainly more to see, but we wanted to give you an introduction to the house and therefore to us. You see, the house is a reflection of us, our personalities and our values.
In future, we will discuss more and dive deeper into the topics that we discussed in this video in brief. Solar and wind power, wood heating and rocket stoves, refrigeration, composting, and definitely lots more about food forests.
There are many stories in our home, but the overall thesis of all of them is contained on the entry archway. A quotation from the Reverend Dr. Beckwith.
Out of nothing and out of no way, a way will be made. Before we leave you for this video, I just want to send out a huge thank you to all our supporters, to our supporters on GoFundMe, our Patreons, you viewers and subscribers, and all the people who have shown such lovely attention to our lifestyle. You may have noticed a disclaimer on some of the video that the content was being managed by SWNS. SWNS has kindly offered us a partnership in sharing our content. So if you're interested in that or becoming a supporter, please check out the links in the comments below. We are so grateful for all of your generous support. Blessed be.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Ontario Permaculture. I'm Bryce Murph'Ariens.
And I'm Misty Murph'Ariens.
Thanks for joining us.
Today we're... In this video, we're going to take you on a tour of our home.
And we're going to talk about the how, the why, the when, and the where, how we got to where we are over the last 13 years. Sorry, what is the what, the how, and the why. Yeah, I know. I forgot the. Right?
And all the other actors.
We're going to talk about the. Yeah, no, totally.
That's not your line.
That's not your line.
You
What's
didn't
my
say
cue?
Where's my cue? Be real.
Yeah. Ready?
I just realized the double entendre. Be real. Be real.
Be real.
Right? Like,
that's real. Okay.
profound. So.
Yeah. No, I'm just, no, yeah. We'll just cut this middle part out. So just zip, all of that was gone. And your smile. So we'd like to talk about the.
You can't just cut off a belly laugh halfway. It's going to leak out of your eyeball.
Ha ha!
Okay.
So, what?
I'm telling you, the more I try and push it down before I'm finished, the more it leaks.
This is not the funny stuff, folks. The funny stuff comes later.
Okay.
We will talk about the. I know. I'll get to it. We'll talk about the what,